Good evening, everyone. Happy weekend. Hope all is well to everyone. Thank you, Denise, for stopping by. Sorry for the typo with your name. It's Saturday. How you guys doing? Hope all is well to everyone. I'm definitely gonna drop the link to the panel in a few, not right away. I want to get some things off my chest regarding this topic. Hello, Jose Negron. How are you doing? I'm definitely going to use the share screen feature. I played with it once, so now I'm super duper comfortable with that. But I want to just say good evening to you all. Thanks for popping in. I know it's a busy weekend and everyone probably has streams at this time. Thank you for stopping by. Really do appreciate that. Um, Adulting, guys. I want to talk about adulting. We all think about it in so many different ways and everything like that. But before I get into that, I want to say, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you're out there watching, listening on the low, and I don't see you, you're in the bushes, like and subscribe to my channel. I'm happy that you're good, Jose. I'm happy that you're good, Denise. Thank you guys for logging in with me. My main topic for tonight is adulting. But I do want to briefly talk to you guys all about a couple of other things that's going on with KFIT as far as, fitness, wellness, and all that other stuff. But want to definitely put out some disclaimers, before I get into any details. So I'll be right back. I'm going to just throw up this little disclaimer video really quickly. Okay, so there we are with that. So if you guys have been watching my Instagram, you guys have been seeing I've been doing my live workouts every Saturday morning. And I'm actually in week 9 of my live workouts. I can't believe it. Today, 8 o'clock this morning, we did the low impact cardio workout, which was a short workout, but it was intense. It did the same thing a high impact cardio workout can do. So I was happy to do that because I'm always struggling to try to include something for everyone. And I know everybody's at a different pace when it comes out to the workout journey or being physically active, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I understand we're all at different places in our life when it comes to like fitness and wellness. And, we all look at different things as far as fitness and wellness. Good evening, Southern Satin. How are you? Thanks for being here. You said you're drinking strawberry Moscato. Nice. I haven't even said what I have to drink, but I definitely have a nice frosty Budweiser margarita in the can. The one they have a lot of commercials on. I definitely have that. But tonight we're talking about adulting, and I just wanted to let all the viewers know what's going on with me. So if you guys didn't know, again, week 9 of the free KFIT live IG workouts at 8 a.m. in the morning. Every week is something different. This week was a low impact cardio workout, which I felt was really good for those people, again, who are not physically active or can just jump around and just do the most to get a sweat and, lose 5 or 10 pounds if that's what they may wish to do, or, try to, create endurance or stamina, whatever the person's goal is. It may not be easy to just have them just do 1,000 sit-ups and 100 laps. Is really not that realistic. But I'm looking at the chat right now. I see some comments going on. It says, it was so early in sunny LA. I was watching your low impact workout while having my morning coffee. I'm going to start doing those workouts with you. Yes, Denise. Yes, Denise. I'm so happy. I'll tag you now in the future so you know when I'm going live. And I got to remember the time frame difference for you. So even if you do it in the replay, it's all good. I really appreciate that. But guys, I want to know, like, what do you guys think about this whole topic of adulting? I want you guys like to get like some little notes or like remember in your head maybe 3 or 5 or whatever amount of things you can think about regarding the adulting topic. And I want to discuss it with you guys on the panel at some point this evening. But I want to let you guys also know I'm going to be at a pop-up shop. I'm going to be at a pop-up shop in New Jersey, August 13th from 1 to 7 p.m. And I forgot the specific county of New Jersey, but I'll definitely give you guys those details later. Long story short, I'll be out there promoting K Gear, KFITNOW. You know my brand, my business, what I do here. You know what I share here. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys know how long I've been doing the whole workout thing. So I'll be able to market and and sell product and merchandise out there in Jersey in August. So really excited about that. I haven't done any vending events this entire summer, and that's really not cool. I should really be more on top of that. I definitely have a lot of product in stock still, so I can definitely, push that. So, shout out to you, Suds and Satins. I know you're always at vending events all the time, and I was speaking to someone who I want to appear on my show, outside of Wine and FaceTime, and they live in South Carolina. And I was telling them about a vending opportunity I saw in Mapleton, Georgia, that you posted on your Instagram. So I'm gonna go back to your IG and get that post so I can share with my friend who lives in South Carolina. He said he may be able to go depending on what part of Georgia it is. So I don't know exactly where he lives at in Georgia. In South Carolina, but I know South Carolina and Georgia are really not that far depending on where you're specifically located. But shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for jumping in the chat, commenting, mingling with each other. I'm feeling the love. So Denise, I'll start tagging you in those workouts. Such and Satin, I'll keep looking at your page for those vending opportunities. And Jose, thanks for always being here to support me and help me in all the good things you do. So next thing I want to tell y'all is that my daughter, I have a 23-year-old daughter. If you guys didn't know, I have a 13-year-old and I have a 23-year-old. My 23-year-old daughter has developed a skincare line called Unique Care. My 23-year-old daughter has lupus, and one of the effects of lupus has been for her to have really dry, patchy, scaly skin. And for the longest period of time, she wasn't able to always find the best remedies to, wash her hands and not have dry hands and, go through the burning and the bleeding of the skin and the patches and the spreading of, the disease. So she actually became an entrepreneur like her mom, and she has a skincare line, and the skincare line is called Unique Hair. So I'm going to actually turn my camera on. I'm really skeptical about my background, which is why I have my camera off right now. But I'm going to turn my camera on so I can show you guys my daughter's skincare line. And she doesn't want to call it a skincare line. She wants to call it, I think, a personal care line. So if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but it's not a skincare line. So I'm going to turn my camera on really quickly. And Denise, yes, I have a 23-year-old daughter. Talking about those sex conversations yesterday, I was just like, yeah, well, I got a little fresh, a little early. So I was kind of a little bit quiet, but my daughter has a skincare line. She's 23. Her name is Destiny. You may see some pictures of her on my Instagram, Denise. So this is the boxing and product box of what the skincare line comes in when you order from my daughter. So I ordered a few different things. Just want to share with you guys. I love that when you open the box, it has the whole brand name, Unique Care. So that's super cool. I love that about her product. This is the first product I bought. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the right lighting. Okay, so that's her name. Goodness gracious. Don't kill me, guys. I'm trying to show off her product, and I'm doing a horrible job at it right now. But long story short, this is a cleansing lotion that she has on her line, and the cleansing lotion pretty much helps with makeup residue, dirt, oily skin, and everything. Is something you use as one of several preparations in the whole skincare cleansing. So it's the cleanser. Please go to uniquecare.com for all details in case I'm butchering anything. Next up, she has you gotta see this. Okay. Her name is on this as well. It's a clear face mask. Wow. And this is why I don't have that many followers, because I don't even know how to do these videos and show you the product. Jesus Christ. It was so much more comfortable when my camera was off, but how can I get that? Someone in the chat help me. Can we do this? Okay, I'm gonna stop. Okay, so anyway, this is the clear blue face mask. It's literally clear and blue, really cool. It smells so nice. And it's a mask on the face you apply. You rub your face, your hands in circles on your face for a while. Rinse it off after 15 minutes. And it's great. It's all natural, made in a lab by a chemist, so not a product that she just put a label on. In addition to that, she also has a healing butter. Again, here we go with that light. She has a healing butter. I just got this in the mail yesterday. So the healing butter is for the dry parts of the skin. As I said, she has lupus, and her skin gets really dry, really cracky, painfully bleeds, all of that other stuff. And this is one of the other things on her product line, which helps with, keeping the skin moisturized. So, for her, someone who has this disease where, her skin is going through this in different parts of her body is really helpful for her. So that was my daughter's product again, uniquecare.com. Please visit her website if you're into makeup and skincare and all that other good stuff. Hello, Ramon. Hi, Gigi. Hi, everybody. Thanks for showing me love in the chat. Thank you guys for popping up. Tonight, I want to talk about adulting, but I was just sharing with you guys that my 23-year-old daughter has a skincare line, and her skincare line is called Unique Care. And some of you may not have known I had a daughter that's 23, but I do. I have a 23-year-old daughter and I have a 13-year-old daughter. And I'm 40. And this is how I look. So, yeah, that's why the health and wellness journey is so important to me. And wanted to let you guys know what's up with me. So, again, when we have pop-up shop in August, my daughter's going to be at the pop-up shop with her product, Unique Care. And you guys can catch up on my workout videos, hopefully, on Instagram, 8 a.m. on Saturday mornings. And if you haven't, please make sure you catch my Instagram lives, 8 a.m. Saturday mornings. It's the crack of dawn, but no excuse to get out there and live your best life. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to the beach, you're going to the pool, and you want to have those little comfortable little outfits on and feel good about it, you may want to work out. Start your journey with me. Start somewhere. So the workouts online are really simple. Nothing that you have to be a pro to do. They're all really, directed and not too intense. And as I said before, if I turn my camera off, it's because my whole backdrop fell apart. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. So I want you guys to give me some feedback. What do you think about? Oh, Jose, I saw you said you did a great job with your interview with Visions of Asia. Nice. Thank you, Southern Satin, for my daughters. Congratulations on her business. I really appreciate that. I'm just focused on the chat right now, so I'm just looking to the side, making sure I'm not missing anyone's comments. Yeah, I definitely appreciate everyone here. I've definitely learned something from everyone in the chat right now. Everyone in the chat has pulled me to the side at some point and gave me pointers or tea or advice or information about something that I wanted to know more about, and still are rocking out with me behind the scenes. I have some of you guys' phone numbers in real life. I'm able to text you guys now. Sometimes some of you guys I'm actually in your DMs on Instagram. We're communicating. So all you guys are really important and effective in my life and my journey right now as well. And have you come to Wine and FaceTime with me where I can discuss my wellness and just let go, be free, and just let loose and say what I want and feel how I want and just give feedback, and we bounce off each other's. So again, don't have any wine, but I do have that Boba's a Margarita lime drink. And if I abruptly cut off my camera again, it's because my whole backdrop fell apart. I'm trying to get back into, backgrounds and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm rambling. So adulting, what do you guys think about this whole topic, adulting? I have so many friends and I've seen so many memes over the last few years, like adulting is ghetto, adulting is whack. Even me, I made a video on Instagram the other day. I'm like, you know what? I'm over this adulting life. Put me back in the sack. Put me back in the egg. I'm over all of this. I don't want to do it anymore. For whatever reasons. Like, I'm just over adulting at some times. Thank you, Golden. You like my fishy videos? Yo, girl, they be seeming to do so good. Again, shout out to you for telling me to just post more often. They love the fish videos, and I'm happy that I have fish babies now. So I'm with it. I'm totally with it. So yeah, that's been really, really good. And what's good, Rakeem? Thank you for popping by. So I'm an 80s baby, aka millennial, and I grew up in a household with aunties and uncles and grandmas and grandpas hearing Al Green and Sam Cooke and all those old songs. And I say all that to say that my idea of adulting as a kid was you get to do what you want, say what you want, live how you want, boss people around all day. You didn't have a job, or you did have a job, or life was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like every little kid wanted to say, I can't wait till I turn 18. so I can get out of here. I can't wait till I'm grown. I can't wait till I get a job. I can't wait till I have my own family. Like we all have that expression, that emotion. Like I can't wait to get to the point to do what I want to do with my life and, live my life accordingly, whatever that may mean. So I'm looking up because I'm hearing little things cracking. So you know what that means, guys. Just give me a little heads up. But anyway, I say all that to say that now that we're grown as fuck out here, we really see that this adult life is real whack. It's real trash. Like, yes, boys in the hood. Ricky! Where's Ricky? Ricky! Like, now that we're grown as fuck and we have kids, or even if we don't have kids and we're grown, we're like, yo, this shit is a whole setup. This is nothing like we imagined in our brain it was going to be like when we thought we were going to be grown and live on our own and have boyfriends and girlfriends in the house and order out all day and just not have to do long. Yo, this is ghetto. Like, yo, adulting is a whole setup. Like, yo, can we rewind? Can we go back to the sack? Can we go back to the egg? Can we go back to the fact that the egg and the sack may not have meat? Can we go back to that right now? Because, yo, this life is so much. We got to be in therapy. We got children, boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, spouses, works, unions, personal lives, children's lives. We are many hats and many people, and it's a part of being an adult, and some of us didn't get the rule book. I don't know about you. I definitely get the manual. I ain't get the blueprint. I ain't get the Amazon download. I got no instructions to the whole adult life. Like some of you guys, like maybe Rakeem, because I know we're close in age and, we're both millennials. We saw around the household and we thought when we got older, we was going to do something similar or something a little bit more better. There was no, hey, Denise. There was no, passage of this is the golden book for when you get married and have kids and adult life. And no one sat us down and told us about finances and credit scores and schools for children and mortgages and loans and fixed credit rates and pensions and 401ks and TSBs. And we weren't really educated on this adult life. We just knew we wanted to be grown because we wanted to be up out of our parents or grandparents or aunties or uncles' house to do our own thing without so much dictatorship over what we was doing. That's what we knew. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say is like, yo, maybe we thought we knew too much. Maybe some of us go too fast. Again, going back to some of the other conversations I've had with many of you guys here in the chat, such as Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron, Introvert with Weekwa, Latin Explaining with Denise Gonzalez. We've been on these conversations where we talked about losing virginities and having sex and, parenting and culture. And it's like, we all know we all grow up differently. And these are the things that I saw, So from this era, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to grow up somewhat like them, not exactly like them. I may take some of the core from them, leave the bones of certain things I've seen with my childhood that I didn't like necessarily, and may choose to implicate some things to my children or not. But what I want to know from you guys, when you hear the word adulting, what is it that you think? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Because for me, I think about all the responsibilities, the decisions, the planning, the action roles, all of that stuff that comes into play that we're not ready for. And we don't realize we're ready for it until we got a whole bunch of kids or we married or we got credit cards or loans or we in debt already. It's like, wow, no one fair warned me or gave me the blueprint on how to deal with this life, as you call it. And again, if you have kids, you got to put their needs first, their wants first, their desires first, what's appropriate for them first before you and yours. So it's like, wow, adulting, like there should be a book on adulting. It's crazy. Like adulting is not all we thought it would be. It really isn't. I have several group chats with some of my friends where I see so many memes about adulting is whack. Adulting is a setup. Like I know you guys seen those same memes because I've seen those memes as well. And I know I be kind of caved into like my little fitness and health and wellness and my little personal things I like on social media. Sometimes I be like not all the way looking at everything on social media, but the whole responsibility, the planning, the finance, we're planning for death at some point, and adulting, whether we realize it or not. We're planning for college, we're planning, for mortgages and houses and fixed rates. We're planning for credit cards. We're planning for cruises. A lot of this adulting is about planning and making the right decisions. And when you don't, like how it affects everyone. And sometimes, you may not have got the blueprint on how to move that way. And sometimes you don't get the education directly from school. Sometimes you don't get the education directly at home. Hence, someone like me, So it's like, ooh, if I had more guidance, I would have did things differently. And not even that would I've done things differently, but I wish I had the education that everyone else had too. So I'm gonna look at the chat right now. I see a lot of comments in the chat. So I see the 18th letter says responsibilities, accountability, and a whole lot of bills. Absolutely, amen. And Denise says, if I had to go back to an age, I would say 27 when I met my hubby. That was a great year, to be honest. Yes, we definitely have those time periods where, as adults, things were good. Life wasn't too stressful. The bills weren't too stressful. It was fun. You're able to do everything. But at one point, it becomes a whole lot. You may feel like you're working paycheck to paycheck. You may feel like you can't get no overtime. You may feel like you can't catch a break. You may feel like things are going up, but the money ain't going up, and it becomes stressful. Stressful for the household, stressful for the individual, stressful for everyone. So this adulting be a whole lot, especially if you have kids, not one but two kids, or maybe three. Say there's stair step or there's a big gap. All that matters too, because my children are 10 years apart. So I feel like for me, I was able to have one help me with the other versus the kids all being right under each other where there's no way they could watch each other. But it happens how it happens. Some people do for whatever reasons, but for me, it just happened that way. But adulting, sigh, sigh. So I would love all you guys' opinions. I feel like this is the most I've ever talked in a live video without immediately dropping the link. So I'm going to definitely drop the link, and I want to get you guys' opinions and viewpoints on what did you learn throughout the adulting phase. Did you get the rule book? Because if you did, please tell me where the URL link is on Amazon or wherever you got it. That's really golden. Not golden, God is golden, but it works. It works. So I'm about to drop the link to the in the chat for you guys' viewpoints and opinions, because adulting is not what we expected it to be. It's really, really not. And sometimes, again, you come from a household where you get that structure and foundation, and sometimes you don't get that structure and foundation because your parents may have been born in a time where crack was it. It was the 80s, or it was a time frame where people were doing what they was doing, or maybe you grew up sheltered where you didn't see or get exposed to much, so your vision and your mindset is like limited or blended. I don't know, but I'm gonna drop the link to the chat right now. I did say I was gonna do a share screen, but I have a whole bunch of notes here on the side too. Like I carry notes around now for Wine and FaceTime, just to like make sure I touch base on everything I want to know. So if you have some comments, viewpoints, tea you want to spill and discuss regarding adulting, what worked for you, if you feel like it was a setup or not, did you get the blueprint? Not. Definitely hit that stream button. Make sure you like and subscribe on the way in and out as well. And tell me your viewpoint on adulting. Like, what was it like for you? We're all adults here, so we're all going through it right now. And again, everyone I know has at least two jobs and a side hustle, or two jobs and two side hustles, or they're in a household with both people are working, where both people have side hustles. Like, I don't know anyone who doesn't have a side hustle at this point. Everyone I know almost has like, a second thing they do outside of their first job, because we all in that situation, it's just really that situation. But I have my first guest joining me, and that is Mr. Jose Negron. So I'm gonna let him in right now. Good evening.
Good evening, David. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. A little bit hot and warm, but it's all good. I'll survive.
Yeah, well, summer is not exactly my favorite time of the year, but it is what it is. Actually, this is kind of like it's a little bit of sweet because both my parents are deceased. So, but to be perfectly honest, there's no one has ever created a master plan or a book on how to be adult. It just, hopefully, um, your parents would have properly educate you as far as giving you the values to be an adult. But sometimes that's not always the case.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of people now just don't want to take accountability for their actions. They want to blame it on other things. Like, oh, I didn't grow up that way. I can say that too. But it's like at the end of the day, I still have two people who look up to me, really one, because my oldest daughter's 23. She moved out. She doesn't even live in the house. She has a full time job. She's an entrepreneur now, but still, I know she needs her mom in some senses and instances outside of her not living at home anymore. But at the end of the day, we all get a different deck of cards, hand of cards, so to say, and for you, like your parents are deceased, and maybe you grew up more spiritual or more in church where that stuff was in your head more, or it was taught to you more, it was verbalized to you more, it was expressed to you more. I don't know. I'm not trying to stereotype, but I'm just guessing. You can correct me if I'm wrong, if anything.
Well, actually, both my parents did raise me as far as certain values. Those values helped me as dealing with the fact that so many people in my family have passed away. And while my parents were alive, I was a caregiver for both my parents. So
Wow, that had
there's
to
a
be
certain amount
tough.
of responsibility when you are the caregiver. So basically, yeah,
I hope everything's okay on your side, Jose. I wasn't sure if that was my
that
side or your side.
okay. Can you hear?
It's a little bit robotic. You can pop out and pop back in
Okay.
if you want, or we can try to work it out. I have Miss Denise coming
Actually,
in.
let's see if I can. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Hi Denise. Thank you for joining the chat, the panel. Thank you.
Hello, how are you,
Good
KFIT?
evening.
Hey, Jose, how are you guys?
Good. I know you said you had a lot of comments, a lot of
Okay. How you
information.
doing tonight?
Good, good. First of all, I want to say, KFIT, love the green wall. Okay, I love the green wall. I was like, oh my god, I love that green. I had to tell her.
I hope it stays up. I'm nervous. I hear things.
Oh no, yeah. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it does.
Thank you. But I was saying, I know you told me the other day, you have a lot of commentary and opinions and viewpoints about this topic, and I know you didn't know if you would make it tonight. So before you leave, can you please, express some of those viewpoints and things you were mentioning before?
Yeah, I put some on the chat. One thing I
Some of
would
those
say is that
viewpoints and things you were mentioning before.
where there's some feedback. I think one thing I
Some
would
of
say
those
is that
viewpoints and
I
things
think
you were
Raquel, you have
mentioning
feedback.
before.
Where there's some feedback. I think one thing I
Some of
would say
those
is that
viewpoints and
I
things
think
you were
Raquel, you
mentioning
have
before.
feedback. Where there's some feedback. I think. Okay, so basically, if you weren't raised, this is a generational thing. If you look at previous generations, they pass down knowledge, they pass down wisdom, they pass down traditions, they pass down anything that was useful in order for the next generation, their legacy, to actually make better decisions and understand what adulthood was. As a matter of fact, the concept of teenage years wasn't something that was real until the baby boomer era started raising kids. For example, my parents are boomers. I've said this many times. And if you were raised by boomers, like many of us millennials will, I don't know if you were raised by a boomer, Kate, because you're also a millennial. Um, but basically, our parents live. They repealed all the silent generation teachings. That generation is notorious for that. They wanted to do it their way, and we are the failed experiment of their decision. And then we have the Gen X that also, mirrored the image of the boomers and didn't have that guidance. Some of them were raised by silent generation, but for the most part, they mirror the same thing. They mirror the same thing. And then now us as millennial, we're the third generation, and we're realizing, hey, we need to go back because now society is so broken. Adulting is too overwhelming. We have no information. Families are completely broken. We're not even taught how to do marriage.
Amen. Preach on. Yes, please. Healing, blessings. Come on. I have Rakeem and Ramon coming in right now as well.
Yeah, we're not teach we weren't teach how to do basic, things. We weren't Males weren't teach how to defend themselves. We as women weren't taught how to take care of husbands and kids and none of these things. None of this knowledge was passed down because the generations that raised us, after silent generation, there was a severance of these practices that evidence shows they worked, but that was repealed by the baby boomer generation, unfortunately. And now we have to go back and try to piece it all together.
Um,
Amen. Hello, Rakeem. Hello, Ramon.
Hey,
Hello.
KFIT, what's going on?
Thank you guys for being available and joining. Denise was just bringing some jewels and knowledge for us about this topic, adulting, and I want everyone to give their opinion and experience about it. So, Denise, that was amazing. If you have more, you can continue.
Yeah, I one more thing I wanted to say was now millennials, like I think the younger millennial right now is 27, I believe. Um if you are part of the millennial generation right now, one thing I would say is that there's nothing we can do with the past. Like something I even learned through therapy. There's nothing we can do
one
already
thing I
about
would
that.
say is that
I
there's
think someone
nothing.
has a feedback. Someone has a feedback.
I'm sorry, it's just that it was me.
So what we can do right now is every day we have to assume now responsibility and start learning and teaching ourselves things, because unfortunately society doesn't look at us based on our past and stuff that we've been through. We're already basically people in our 30s, so of course, even if it's a baby step, last year you didn't knew how to handle a mortgage. This year you're going to get all that information. I don't care how you're going to divide it, but you have to make sure that when this year ends, you know what a mortgage is and work towards that, and find all the requirements and start walking towards that. And the same to get out of debt, the same to consolidate debt, the same to do different things. Take care of your mental health. That is priority,
Mhm.
because that, without your brain, if your control tower is not working properly, and we all know we have something wrong in there, we have to go somewhere that we are challenged in order for us to maximize our potential. And a lot of people shy away from that because it hurts, but it's called growing pains for a reason. It has to hurt you. You have to feel uncomfortable through therapy. You have to feel even pissed off. So, to be honest, you have to be able to first master your mental, then go to your financial and execute, and eventually take care of your spirituality, and everything will follow. But it's time for us to do those baby steps, even if it hurts, even if you don't have the money. Squeeze and carve out from whatever you have to and start moving, even if it's slowly.
Beautifully, beautifully, factually said. And that's just what it boils down to. We just have to not make the excuse and realize this is what it is, and this is how we have to move if we want generational change. Because people don't believe in generational curses, or I feel like people call it something different, but again, it's generational.
Yeah, they don't believe in generational curses, but they believe in generational wealth.
Uh,
Mhm.
ex-
Come on.
excuse me if I can just chime in. Actually, I am the product of the Sonic generation parents, and I can speak for myself as a baby boomer. I receive a wide assortment of values which I maintain today, such as responsibility, admitting where you have erred, trying to learn from mistakes from the past,
and trying to be a better person. Now, I'm not gonna lie and say that all us baby boomers are wonderful. I mean, we do have baby boomers that, let's keep it real. They did not do a good job raising their children or conducting themselves, in society. Of course, in every group, you're gonna have good and bad apples. That's reality, and that's always been the case since the beginning.
I understand that, but when it comes to baby boomers, it's not I mean, and I'm not saying that to you, Jose, because you didn't have kids, but the baby boomer generation is notorious for not passing down any information that they lived by. They benefited from the information from their parents, but they didn't pass it down to anyone. So, and it's not something we're making up. If you go to any blog referring or talking about baby boomers, and you're going to see their children or their grandkids talking about the same topic. We were not passed down any information. The baby boomer was the selfish generation. The baby boomer did not pass anything. What they passed down was erroneous information, you know? So basically, the parents of that generation did a crappy job. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of baby boomers that I know did not even raise their own kids and gave them a hellish environment to grow up in, but they had to rely on the silent generation parents to raise their own children because they wanted to be young forever and they wanted to party and do whatever they want to do, or they wanted to do things their own way. So, and there's, I'm telling you, tens or if not hundreds of thousands of the product of baby boomers living their happy lives. And Gen X did the same thing for the most part. But the reason why I don't grill Gen X as much is because they didn't receive this guidance from baby boomers. So, of course, how are they supposed to mirror something by example when their example is this chaos? You know, they also didn't have the information, so they had to copy what they knew. It like we did. We copied what we knew. Now we're realizing, hey, this is not working.
I see MK in the chat and Southern Satin. They're saying MK says Gen X did the same thing. Southern Satin says I'm Generation X, so we had to be independent and figure out life pretty much on our own. I feel like that made most of us more responsible.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
is
will have to
true.
agree. I will have to
Yeah,
agree with what's something. I'm a Gen X myself, and it's true that I didn't have so much guidance. I have to, like something said, we had to figure a lot of things out on our own. I grew up without one of my parents, and there was half of parenting that I didn't get. So later on, when I became a young adult, I had to really rebuild myself to become more of a complete man by myself. So because may have been a little more emotional because I just didn't know better. I mean, growing up with only women, that's you are not getting the full picture, the whole thing when it comes to parenting. So that's something that I had to work on. I had to do it all uh, by myself. I mean, I had to rebuild myself, and today, me being older, I had to become a little bit more of a jerk, but it has protected me because I'm not gonna be. I can't afford to be emotionally too vulnerable or too available or too much of a sitting dog for the type of woman that will want to take advantage of it and like use me for whatever I'm worth to her. And that's something that I have to learn the hard way. And when it comes to relationships and things like that. And so, yeah, there were many things that I had to learn by myself. I had to keep my mouth shut and observe others, try to learn by via others' mistakes. As much as one can, try to learn by what others can tell you when it comes to their mistakes, their experiences that they went through. Try to incorporate it as life lessons of yourself, of your own. If you had to go through an experience, okay, so be it. One is human, one is not perfect. One may have to go through certain bullshit that is gonna be a hard lesson to learn, and there were a few of those. And there were a few of those experiences in which I had to learn things the hard way, but I did learn the hard lessons that came with it. So, as much as one can, try to learn from others' mistakes. That will be the safer way to learn, and learn from your own mistakes, which is the hard way to learn, but inevitable to a degree.
Mhm.
Nice,
Well,
very well said. Anybody else want to chime in?
Yes, I wanted to chime in. Shout out to UK Fit. Thank you for allowing me back on your platform. And yeah, nobody prepared me for adulting at all. I mean, the only person, God rest her soul, is my grandmother. My grandmother used to tell me, it's crazy how things stick in your head after a person has left you. You just play back things in your mind that you may have not have listened to at that particular time. But I remember when my grandmother would tell me, like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this for you. I'm setting this up for you because a lot of black people are not in a position to leave something for their children. And that was
Mhm.
something that really, that always played back in my mind, the things that she would tell me, like, because I was the oldest of four. So I was the oldest of four, and you know how it is, K-Fit, um coming up in the Bronx in the 90s, and me coming up here in inner city Chicago in the 90s. Most of my family was drug addicted, and it was like crime all around me. So I learned about survival, but I didn't learn the key things on how to be an adult. You know, my great grandmother was raising me as a child, but she was struggling because she was dealing with a lot of people in her household that was addicted to drugs. So, the necessary things that she used, like my father's mother used to say to me, because I was reluctant to take help from anybody because I didn't think people cared. I was used to being around people that they would help you just to throw it back in your face, or use it at a later on date to say how much you needed help from them. So I was reluctant to ask help from anybody. So I remember when she would say things like, well, if you need help, baby, let me know, because grandma's not always going to be here to help you. And that's something that always stuck with me. And even now, because when you become an adult, and I think we can all say, when you become an adult and there's certain things that you don't know, it's people that prey on that know more, that are looking to take advantage of you, whether it be purchasing a home, whether it be, dealing with colleges, school debt, um, from the highest corporate building to the lowest abandoned buildings and street corners. It's people that are willing to take advantage of you on what you don't know. And it's a lot of things that I didn't have the opportunity to learn because I was growing up, with a single mother, in a situation where it was a lot of dysfunction and there was a lot of violence around my area. So certain things, I picked up, um certain things I picked up on how to survive. Like, just, how to, not be timid, not run from anybody, know how to embrace confrontation, different things like that. But those are not things that are conducive to the real world. And the funny thing about the real world and the adulting in the real world is that things are like that, but it's more in a cunning way, and it's more in a cutthroat way. When you grow up in the ghetto, people are more direct versus when you growing up, when you're got that position in the corporate world, and people are smiling your face and then turn around and slander your name to be able to get a higher position and to get you out of the way. Or people that'll say, hey, we got your best interests at heart, you're like family, but then turn around and put you in a messed up contract in order to be able to leave you damn near destitute, or put you in a position where they're zapping you of any type of resource that you have. So nobody really taught. Adulting is about, it's kind of like the same what you see with the animals in the wild. When, if you watch the Discovery Channel, if you watch the Animal Planet channel, you're literally trying to figure out things as you go on. You're trying to keep the pace up, with what's going on around you to be able to survive, because it's so much information that we're not privy to. Inner city school systems never taught kids anything, more than likely, especially with black children, if they felt that it was a system even to put kids on special ed, so you wouldn't advance. And we know that the information in the inner city schools were not even up to par with private school systems that a lot of people couldn't even afford, or just school systems where they had more access to more valuable information. So even if you was doing good in a public school, by the time you got to college, you didn't even realize how far you was behind to everybody else who had more valuable information that was attainable to them. So adulting is definitely a lot, because of course I pay a mortgage, I have bills that I have to pay, and with the way that gentrification is taking place in the inner cities, whether it be New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, it's taking a toll on people because the income is not enough to make it with the way things are transitioning over. And you even wonder to yourself, who the hell has the money to pay for this? Because I'm not, seeing I'm not seeing these people in my everyday life. So who's buying these things? But yeah, things because you're trying to figure out so much stuff all at once. And sometimes it can be overwhelming, especially when you got mouths to feed.
Yeah, and if I can piggyback from what Rakim is saying, if you think about it, I think one of the biggest solutions, I think I put it in the chat, is we're not gonna be able, and we have to understand that, because I think like in our generation, one of the things that's so cringe to hear a lot is the concept of luxury. We're not gonna be able, like the majority of us are not gonna be able to live a life of luxury, but we can still win. It's not set in stone, because we just have to forget and unlearn toxic traits we have learned. And one of the biggest things that it might seem very simple that we need to unlearn, it starts with us, the ladies. We need to learn how to get along with men. Because one of the if we're struggling on our own, wouldn't it be better to share that with a man that has more durability? It gives more stability. It keeps you protected. And you just have to learn how to get along with a man. And it's a structure that you might want to live under because it makes life easier and it makes sense. So it might not be luxury, but your children and the next generations will have a healthy example, a more balanced life, because we tend to be more on the emotional side. So we can really pass down that balance that men bring into our lives. And also, we will start recovering back what was not taught to us. And families are needed. A society is just a conglomerate of communities that are formed by the basic unit that is a family. Society is broken because there's not a lot of families. Not even half of the country is married, I think, at this point. We're just having situationships, and people that don't want to get along with one another, want to be unruly, uncontrolled, and crazy. And this is both sides. I'm not saying, oh, every man out there is a husband. No, it's both sides. We're seeing very feminine men and very masculine women, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And I love what what's her name? I mean, Sutton Satin said when she was like, "My kids who are millennials and Gen Z are always overwhelmed or feel entitled to everything and are much softer." And I'm like, I have to agree. Our generation will always be more softer, and Gen Z is even softer than us. They're very easily offended because, and it will get worse because we're going to be more reactive and teach our kids to not create those triggers for people because we feel that way. We see it right now with gentle parenting. It's being promoted to millennial parents to have. Haven't you heard that we're taught, oh, don't use the word no for your kids because
Yeah.
it's a negative thing. And if they hear it, it will be traumatized. I'm like, F that. I'm going to say no to my kid because the world will say no to him with no, no compassion. And it's better that they learn it when they're very young so they get comfortable to look for an alternate solution. You don't want your kid to be softer than the previous generation. You don't want that. That's not an accomplishment. You can't keep raising people, because what that creates is mental illness, because someone's always going to be on the lookout for, oh my god, like I don't want to say something that's going to trigger the alphabet community, and I don't want to say something that's going to trigger the women. I'm not going to say something that's going to trigger the Democrats. I'm not going to say something that triggers the Republicans. I'm not going to say something that triggers Black people. I'm not going to say something that triggers Latinos. You see, that's not a life. We're supposed to be able to express ourselves freely, and people are not supposed to get triggered. And it's an internal thing, and it keeps bringing softer and softer and softer and softer people, and that's why adulting feels overwhelming, because our mental isn't right, and there's illness there, so we got to fix that first.
Excuse me if I can just chime in. As the only baby boomer on the panel, okay, I'm going to keep it 100. I mean, there are baby boomers that have done a horrible job raising their children. So in the same note, there are baby boomers who've done a good job. Now, unfortunately, I was not blessed with children. Have I had children, they would be taught values. They would be taught, to be responsible adults. Whatever knowledge and wisdom that I've gained from my parents would be passed down to my children, and hopefully they will pass it on to their children and onward. Unfortunately, at times it seems like the baby boomers are we're like the boogeyman here at this case, and it's very easy to blame everything on the baby boomers. Now, I'm not saying that we did not have a role in all this. Yes, we did. But eventually, it's going to come a time when the baby boomers will have died off. Okay, so there is a thing called accountability for one's actions, and in many ways, unfortunately, baby boomers have failed in that aspect. I am not going to deny it, but constantly looking at the baby boomers as the boogeyman, as the cause for all the problems. It's part of the problem, but it's not the only element.
Thank you for your commentary. There's so many comments in the chat that I'm missing. I want to just speed back some of the things Denise has spoken about that she's already saw in the chat, but I want to acknowledge people who are making comments in the chat. So just 1 second, guys. I see, Ramon, I want to be 20 again, but knowing what I know now. You can comment on that later. Ramon, tell us what you meant about that comment about being 20 again. And I also see, what else? Denise is here. She spoke about that. Okay. I want to just make sure I'm up to par with everything. Oh, Susan Satin. As a Gen X, I don't blame anything on the baby boomers. I'm not mad at them. As I said, I feel like we, the Xers, were raised to be very independent and responsible.
Yeah, if I can add a little something to that, I agree with what Susan Satin is saying, and to add to what Denise was just saying when it comes to modern parenting, that whole thing about saying no, it's a big mistake. And I don't even want to wonder about how it is going when it comes to schools, what the teachers have to be dealing with, because they don't have real control of their classrooms. They really can't. Sometimes teachers are having to move along and pass students that have actually failed, and they still have to pass them into the following grade, even though they failed, because the students will still be stuck on the same grade for year after year after year. and then the teachers are not allowed to impose some kind of discipline in the classrooms. I mean, as a Gen Xer, I remember when I was in elementary school, a teacher could actually smack a student upside the head if they didn't act right, if they didn't behave. This is something that I actually witnessed, but it was in elementary school and in junior high. When I was in junior high, I was actually for 3 years in a private school, and a teacher could actually, if a kid got too unruly, they could actually smack them a little bit, not in the face, but they could smack them over the head, or they could smack them over the shoulder, and the teachers wouldn't get in trouble, and they would be told no sometimes when they wanted to do something. If they kept asking to go to the restroom or something like that, they will be told no. There were times where they will be told no, and parents will actually say no. I was told no many times. So that whole thing about not telling kids the word no, it will be extremely detrimental, because it contributes to building a bubble of privilege around these kids, that when they become adults, they're going to have that bubble burst by the reality of the world that we actually live in. And it's a horrible idea, the whole gentle parenting thing. Parents are not supposed to be the children's friends. That is a mistake that a lot of parents are making. They're trying to be their kids' friends, particularly some of these moms that are trying to be their daughter's friends, but it doesn't work too well, because when that daughter comes of age and starts to becoming a young lady, then the mother will start feeling jealous because of the attention that she's starting to get, because she is going to feel like she's in competition with her daughter instead of being her parent. She's starting to see her as a competition. There are many complications that come with that. We're trying to be gentle with the kids instead of being strictly the parent, strictly the one that's going to put some discipline, strictly the one that's going to be able to say no when they want to be spoiled and they want to get their way with whatever they want. They do need to be told no. It's necessary. That's not gonna help them. It's not gonna help them to overly coddle them, because it's gonna be coddling, and facing the real world is gonna be a very brutal realization that their parents, to a degree, failed them because of that. I saw a little bit of that years ago with somewhat younger women that I will meet that will have a kid, and they will go on and on bragging. That was back home, bragging about they never discipline their children, meaning that they will never spank them. They will let them do whatever they wanted. It's like, how do you discipline your kids if you can't spank them a little bit? Because sometimes a little spank them will prevent many problems later on. I mean, but parents are not allowed to do that. Definitely, teachers aren't allowed to do that, to bring any kind or any type of corporal discipline, corporal punishment, of course, without injuring. But a little spanking is not really going to hurt them. Instead, it's actually doing them a favor, because it gives them that dose of reality, maybe with a little pain, but they're going to understand that when they get out of line, when they misbehave, when they become unruly, and all of that, there are going to be consequences. Learning is very necessary.
But piggybacking, and I have a question for Jose. Why is it that every time we bring this topic, out of curiosity, because this is the thing, if ancient times people were more durable and stronger and less sensitive and more hardworking, when then you would say that things went wrong and we have the results we have today?
Okay. As I stated again, and I wish that you would listen to everything.
I listened.
Okay,
I
okay,
listened. I was quiet.
okay. I am not saying that baby boomers made a lot. Of course, I mean, I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it 1,000. A lot of baby boomers did drop the ball when it comes to raising their parents, raising their children. I'm not going to, and Have there been baby boomers who did not share their information with children? I will agree with you 100%. The issue is using the baby boomers as a scapegoat for every issue that the baby that the millennials have. Um,
But how am I using the baby boomers as a scapegoat here? Because a scapegoat will be me not saying we're responsible for learning things on our own. I think I stated that very clearly in many of the comments that I made on the chat, and I said it here. It's starting to sound basically like the argument that many women use when called to become feminine again, or you're bashing women. I'm not bashing baby boomers. As a matter of fact, I even said it's our responsibility because we can live in the past. I think I said that at the beginning. It's our responsibility to learn, even if it's baby steps, to become better and better and better and better. At 18, you're grown. No one's going to feel sorry for you. You got to put in the work. But we got to identify what was wrong, because if not, we're going to commit the same mistakes. And we can't sugarcoat the baby boomers did messed up the concept of family. Baby boomers messed up many things because they changed how things were perceived. That's not saying, oh, let's just do a crusade and hunt them down. There's nothing we could do. That's in the past. That's like 30, 40 years ago. But I'm gonna, if you allow me, KFIT, I'm gonna play, because sometimes when younger people say these things, we get dragged by the elders that get a little bit more sense on the sensitive side. So I'm gonna allow an older person that's 56 years old explain to Jose, because I think he misinterpreted what I said, and it's all the time, for him to explain what I'm talking about. Since when I say it is complaining or blaming, I'll allow an older person to say it.
Okay.
Hold on.
So here's the theory. It's fair to say that women born during the baby boom of 1945 have raised their daughters to become modern, independent women above all else. Now, if you're not familiar with the baby boom is the period after World War II was over, when all the soldiers came back home and when babies were being born galore. That's when we had the big population rise. And that's where a lot of the movies like Soul Food, Big Mama in Soul Food was the mother of the baby boomers. My mother's generation was baby boomers. My grandmother's generation is silent era. My generation is Generation X. It is my contention that baby boom women raise their daughters to be modern, independent women above all else, and so on and so on. Silent era women raise their daughters to be just like them. However, it is well documented that baby boomers, many of them looked at their silent generation parents as backwards, slow, stuck in a different time. And you've seen this acted out across many forms of media. Imitation of life. Well, that may not be an accurate representation, because after the baby boom, that's right around the baby boom. If you were born in 45, in 1965, you were 20 years old. At the height of the civil rights movement, in the early 60s, the sit-ins, the free love generation, all these things were going on worldwide, new ideas, new ways of thinking about stuff. And many of these young adults looked at their parents as stuck in an old world that didn't exist, so they rebelled.
Now, can we all understand that I'm not attacking baby boomers? Because now it's like an older person talking about what, I don't know if you heard it, but he said it's well documented. And I can produce the documentation. I just don't want to go that deep. But this is documented. That's when things went awry. And we're not attacking baby boomers by saying this. We're just pointing out we have to erase that thinking so that our kids can become stronger and not softer like us. It doesn't matter. Feelings are not important here. Notice how I'm saying my generation is softer. I've said it from the beginning. Our generation sucks in many ways because we get easily offended, easily triggered. And I even said we had to go to therapy because we were made to be soft and we got to raise better kids. But it all went wrong during the baby boomer generation. And that, you can kick, you can scream, but that is the facts.
Okay. I can rest assure you, when my parents were alive, I never referred to it. I never referred to it as out of date, backward, or what have you. In fact, I consider my mom. She was an extraordinary person. She went through so much, not just for me, for all my siblings. And again, unfortunately, when it comes to a lot of us baby boomers, we missed the ball big time. I am not denying that. Just in the same note, there are some baby boomers actually did a good job. Now, in my case, again, unfortunately, I was not raised. I did not have children. If I had children, I would definitely try to share the knowledge that I have received. Why? Because if they do better than me, it is a positive testimony. If I have children and they do better than me, and they're better and they're better prepared, that means that I did a responsible job as a parent. And
But
again,
at the same time, did you have children? Did you contribute to the millennial generation?
okay, as far as in what sense?
Did you contribute with your legacy in the millennial generation? Did you pass down your knowledge to a millennial so that our generation could be strong?
Yes.
How did you? You didn't have kids.
Well, I did not accept. What I did was I share my knowledge.
No. Did you
Okay,
had a kid?
okay.
Did you
You know
had
what?
a kid?
I think I'm having a hard time understanding the question. Maybe.
Okay. Did you had a child that you deposit all of your knowledge, that you shape their character, that you actually explain to them the world and put them out in the world when they were 18 years old so that they could perform, and you watch them fail and let them fail in order for them to understand and grow? Did you do that?
No.
Then exactly. Then I don't know why you're feeling attacked by the conversation, because I'm not specifically referring to you. You might have had a glorious childhood and you probably had the tools to have raised a nice millennial, but you didn't have that. The ones that did not do that, because if baby boomers raised amazing millennials, then where are they? Why our generation is so messed up in large numbers? Because look, you can't look at just one person or like a state. This is a problem that's global right now. Our generation, my generation right now, is one of the softest, most lazy, and easily offended, with more mental illness generation. That's not a coincidence. That was formed. There's no way that people that don't know each other raise the same results. They raise the same results because that's how they thought. So we're not making this up. It's not like us being wimpy kids or trying to drag our parents for something. We're on our thirds. We're all people at this point. So at the end of the day, all due respect, but if you didn't pass down your wisdom onto a millennial, you didn't contribute to our generation. So it's not related to you precisely. It's related to the people that actually did. And those people can only be evaluated either by us, their kids, or the people that watch them. And you have a panel here. I don't know if Ramon Moms is a baby boomer and his dad. I'm pretty sure. You see, I'm pretty sure that, and you can see, he even said I had an incomplete information We're not saying that we're going to drag our parents for that. We have to make do. We have to do something. But it sucks that we had to. It does. Now,
I
I
I
know,
agree.
for example, Rakim also had baby boomer parents. He also shared your experience with you. I'm sharing my experience as well. Kay Fit is sharing her experience as well. Did we all grow up in the same environment? No. But why we all come to the same conclusion? Because we all have one factor in common, and the common denominator in all of our upbringings is baby boomer parents. Now, are we making this up? Are we hating on the baby boomers? No, it's just they suck at parenting, and it's okay to say it.
And some of them that are alive now, they know it. They've owned up to it. They've held accountability for it. You
Yeah.
know, they've come to terms with they didn't do the best job. I know for me, I've had the conversation with my mom and my dad, and they both, you know, in their little apologetic way, said that to me. You know, I definitely believe them because that was the crack era, and it was definitely around. So I get it. I'm a parent now, and I'm not following their exact footsteps, but you know, I'm gonna make mistakes too. But
Yeah.
again, I'm gonna try to look real hard at what they did to not make those mistakes that they made for sure.
No, and also, I had this conversation even with my father, and he has owned up to it as well. But also, it's a good thing when they accept it instead of fighting it, because they can guide you through parenthood so you are better, so you don't make the same mistakes. That's the most beautiful thing they can do now. They probably mess up with us, but at least their grandkids will not have that. And that is when things, I think, are beautiful, because they are coming full circle. The ones that are fighting this concept are messing up their legacy forever. But the ones that are owning up to it, like many of them have done, like, for example, my father, you know, of course, they are making their contribution into the generation alpha. And that is a beautiful thing to see.
Well,
Well, at
as
least
I
go
sorry.
ahead.
Well, as I stated before, and I'm going to state it again, unfortunately, when it comes to maybe the baby boomers, we dropped the ball. That
No,
you
that's
know
fine. Yeah, yeah.
that's a reality.
You
It's
don't
a,
have to carry that for the whole generation of baby boomers, though,
no,
Jose.
but it's okay. But you know what it is it's like don't know if I do it, but don't I don't. I mean, unfortunately, I don't have. I mean, I was not blessed with children, so it's not like I had the opportunity. Had I had children, of course, I would have shared my knowledge.
Well, you can still do mentoring programs and still being able to, if you have an opportunity to be in a position where you can advise youth, take full advantage of that and pass that knowledge along. I mean, if it doesn't happen for you to have children of your own, you can still do mentoring and pass that along to
Uh,
somebody who will be able
actually,
to benefit from.
actually, actually, I am doing that with some of the younger union reps.
Mhm.
So I'm sharing with them, the wisdom and knowledge. So hopefully they can avoid the mistakes I made. And some of them were real whoppers.
Yeah.
It's gonna,
Yeah. I mean,
because one thing I firmly believe is accountability for my actions. One saying is it's not grammatically correct, but it's true. When you mess up, fess up.
yeah. At least I can say that in her later years, I was able to have a better relationship with my mom because growing up, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best because she wasn't playing her role, the role that she should have played because my dad wasn't there, and that has caused like a very some very serious trauma with my sister. Without getting too much into that, and to this day, my sister is still kind of trying to get some type of validation from him and not getting it. And I'm the one, the younger brother. I'm the one who has to tell her, look, he's not gonna change. He has more important things to do. We gave him a chance for decades to make amends and make things better with us, and he kept choosing to do something else because to him it was more important to go hang out. It was more important to hang out with other bitches. It was more important for him to have a good time, be away from us. Period. I mean, it was more important to him. I made a peace with that, and I'm not going back. I'm just expecting for his wife to let me know that he has passed away, only for me to tell her, okay, my condolences. As cold as it sounds, I have come to the realization that that's the way it's gonna have to be. It's gonna be more painful for my sister. Yes, it's gonna be more painful for her because a part of her still needs him to a degree, still needs some validation from him. But it's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. He's too old to change. Unfortunately, he's the parent that remains. The parent that I was able to have a better relationship with is the one who passed away, unfortunately. But those are the cards that I was dealt. That's what I have to. That's what I'm gonna have to deal with it for the rest of my days, because I have already been told you never really recover.
I just want to say to all of you guys, I really appreciate your transparency with you guys sharing your personal upbringing stories regarding, those sentimental moments with our loved ones. It wasn't something I expected you all to do, but I appreciate that you all, were just as open as I was. And I know it's a vulnerable space for some of you, especially, the two men on the panel who just recently, had loss, or, we just spoke about their mothers, passing. So I respect you guys being this transparent and, dishing out, your feelings like this with me.
No, it's no problem. I mean, for me, it's actually kind of necessary. Sorry, Jose. It's actually kind of necessary for me to talk about these things to a degree, because if I keep this all bottled up, it's gonna eat me up. It might eat me up. I might sink into depression. I don't know what could I end up doing because I'm dealing with this alone. So I might as well talk to somebody.
Right. Understand. Jose, I don't know, you want to speak?
Yeah, well, you see, in my case, I'm gonna make it public. I'm undergoing therapy because I'm dealing with a lot of emotional issues. I have not fully recovered from the fact that in 2020, within the first 7 months, both my oldest sister and my mother passed away, and plus I'm dealing with some other things that is known among other members of the panel, but I prefer not to state publicly. And part of the things that we at Baby Boomers is gonna have to accept. We're gonna have to accept the fact of our own mortality. We're gonna have to accept the fact that we're not as young as we were 20 or 30 years ago. The harder we try to fight it, the more difficult it's going to be to adjust. Also, we can't learn from the mistakes that we've made. We have to acknowledge that we made those mistakes, and then be able to actually say, okay, I screwed up. And in some cases, we screwed up big time. And then try to be a better person for the amount of time that we have. I mean, I don't know. They said that the average human lived to be 70 or 80 years old. So I have maybe 10 to 20 years of life yet. I cannot undo the damage I did. All I can do is learn from it and try to be a better person and try to be a positive influence to those that God allowed me to be for the amount of time that I'm alive.
Okay, let's be more uplifted, positive speaking, Jose. Thank you for
I know, but
let's be more positive.
I know, but
You're loved, and nothing's your fault right now. Again, you don't carry the entire generation of your generation, so please walk away knowing that. Thank you for sharing. I just want to acknowledge a couple of interesting comments in the chat. Denise and MK, you guys are mentioning the Gen Alpha, and someone actually gave me a breakdown. Thank you, Southern Sam, for the breakdown. What is the Gen Alpha? Is that the same thing as the Gen X?
No, Gen Alpha is the one that millennials are raising now, like the kids that we're having now. That will I think it started when 2010, I believe, something like that. If your kid was born in 2010, I think I'm not sure if it's 2010 or 2012, something like that. 2013. I'm sorry. If your kid was born from 2013 till now, it's still Gen Alpha. And our theory is that we have sucked so badly in the millennials that um, our kids will reject the nonsense that you know the word that we have created is giving them. So they're going to drastically shift to
Oh, okay,
the
gotcha.
older, the old mindset where people were more pro family, more stable. They're going to be a little bit more reliable because if you think about it, when the world was good, hard times create great men, great men create good times create soft men create hard times. That is the cycle that keeps happening. So because our generation has created even softer times and like softer men, because times have gotten, you know, better and better thanks to, silent generation and whatnot. Now it's like getting out of control. So times are way harder now, and that creates stronger men. And then it creates also stronger women. And when I mean strong, I'm not talking about strong independent, I don't need no man type of chick. I'm talking about more, I'm gonna lean on a husband, I'm gonna lean on a man, I'm gonna get along with the man because times are hard. So call it by circumstance or by the fact that they will get annoyed with the way we are, but our theory is that they'll go back to the original way of society. Hopefully they
excuse
do.
me. Just to give you an idea, the baby boomers are from 46 to 64. The Gen X people are from 65 to 80. The millennials are from 91 to 95. The Gen Z people are 96 to 2010. And the Alpha generation is from 2011 to 2025.
Well, apparently it's all on 15-year intervals, it seems, around approximately. Yeah, from the end of the Second World War.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to say something because like I think as well, we always hear the term when it comes to adults that you never stop learning. But I think for some people, uh as they become adults, you do lose the interest to learn more. That's where you get the saying that people are stuck in their ways because they can only see things from a certain element of, when they were young or, just based off of the information that they were taught. So the most important thing, especially for the next generation of kids that we're raising up, is to remain open minded and, encourage kids to learn as much information as they can and don't be afraid to tell your children if you don't know certain things. Don't be afraid to tell your children that, okay, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I don't know it, because our generation prior to us was so matter of fact. And you have a lot of people who have this arrogance and they don't know everything or they barely know anything, and they'll have this arrogance like in the previous generations of just telling kids, well, I remember the worst term I can remember growing up was do as I say, not as I do. That was the worst damn term I ever heard in my life because I saw everybody doing the most negative things around me, but they were being hypocrites. They was being hypocrites, and this was mostly like a lot of women in my family, but they were just being outright hypocrites on telling you what to do while they did the exact opposite. So you're expecting the child to actually become a upstanding citizen when you just see everyone doing the exact opposite on what's going on. And one of the reasons today why a lot of kids have become even more soft is because it's more technology, is more, being able, for instance, with all of us right now. Denise is in LA, Ramon is in Dallas, Jose is in the Bronx, and K-Fit is in the Bronx, and I'm currently in Chicago, and we're able to interact at a higher level than we've ever been before then.
And by the way, but it's all good.
Huh? What you say?
I'm in Manhattan, but it's all good. I'm still in New York.
Oh, okay. You still okay? Different borough, same city,
Right.
wrong borough. I'm sorry. You over there in money making Manhattan.
Yeah.
But
she's bougie, Rakim. Okay, she's in Manhattan. You know?
You have to make sure. You have to make sure to let us know.
Yeah,
If you have to make sure to let us know. No, I'm in Manhattan.
not with you peasants. Not with you, the peasants.
Yeah. No, so we're a bunch of peons and plebeians. We're not what she said.
Hold on one second, Jose. Hold on one second.
We're offending Jose.
But I just wanted to say that, yeah, so that's something that's very important for us to do for the next generation, is to try to, tell them where we're wrong and try to have more of a rapport with children, because a lot of people treat children as if they're just, pretty much extensions of them, which they are. But a lot of people treat children, especially back in the day, like it was, just like you just a dumb child. What the hell when children know a lot more than people think, and children pick up on a lot of patterns quicker than people actually as adults do, because as adults you get older, you mind your business, you're not focused on what the next person is doing. Children pick up on energy, they pick up on patterns, they pick up on things that people say at a much higher rate than adults do. So
yeah, that's true. We don't never pay attention, but they be knowing a lot more than we give them credit for.
yeah, I make sure I keep that in mind, because I knew a lot more than what a lot of people gave me credit for as a kid. And sometimes as adults, we forget what it was like being a child because we're so used to being an adult. And, we forget that time in our lives. Me, I'm still at that age where it wasn't that long ago. I remember 92. I remember 93, 94. I remember 95. So a lot of that I still have retained. So I always treat kids within that same, sentiment, and I love me some kids. So I always treat kids, the same way.
Nice. I don't know what happened, guys, but my computer just cut all the way off. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? I guess I'm overheating things over here. But I like that Golden Goddess says the babies are twerking the generation. I mean, it's not funny, but it's true. Like, again, as you all broke down generation from your own household, how it looked with you guys, and we're all from different, ways of life here, but we're all connected. I see these videos of little kids twerking. I'm like, wow, I can't twerk, and it's like they're babies, they're in diapers, like it's really out of control. But again, we just see the change in generations, so it makes more sense now, understanding the whole classifications of generations, and what we missed from which generation was the strongest, the more lenient, the more fittest, whatever you want to call it. But again, we're not here to break down, which was the best generation, but just to recap adulting and, how we giving it up or how we feel about it or what we've learned or what we've seen, and just really realizing it's not what we expected at all. I'm pretty sure when we were kids and we thought about being adults, what we're going through right now is not what we expected. And I think we all can agree to that here in this panel.
Yeah. Excuse me, Kate. One of the things that our generations tend to disagree with is the definition of middle age. In fact, that's going to be the topic next week of my channel.
Uh-oh.
And based on my research, there are multiple definitions. Okay, because technically speaking, if you take a look purely at the average lifespan of a male, which is 76. Based on that, middle age would be 38, depending on that concept. However, there are different definitions regarding what's technically called middle age. So, based on the research that I've done, I've come to the conclusion that there is no one fixed standard. I mean, there are different interpretations, and that's something that I have to admit.
Well, I feel like I'm almost at middle age. I just turned 40. I'm like, oh my God, I got gray hair, my eyebrow. Like, this is it. It's time
I
to live
feel
my best life. It's time to live my best life for real.
I feel
I
middle
think
age as well.
after look after 32, you already get a bad knee or a bad back. You know, drinking doesn't feel the same. I think I said this yesterday. Drinking for me changed very young, and now I babysit a seltzer when I go places.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't stomach that whole, oh, have 17 beers, or like, get 20 shots, or let's have like 7 margaritas. I can't
Yeah,
do that.
get
Yeah.
wasted, get smashed like that, and end up getting sick, and you look like an idiot. That's something that I
Yeah.
was done with by the time I was like 23 or
Yeah.
so. Because
I think the
yeah,
last time I was tipsy, close to drunk, I was 24 years old. So it's been almost a little bit over a decade at this point.
oh,
That's
I like to get my I like to get my boss on, but I always keep a couple of bottles of water near me. By the time, as soon as I start feeling a little buzz, I stop because I have control over that. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't let myself get overly plastered
I
because
think for that you have to be. I think if I ever get drunk again in my life, it has to be that I am on a vacation, and
Mhm.
it's like, I have 3 to 4 weeks so I can recover like several days after. That's how bad it is for me, I swear. And
Damn,
yeah, I can. I honestly, I love wine. That's my drink of choice.
right.
That's my thing. And as a matter of fact, that's all I drink. It's very rare. It's that or a seltzer.
Mhm.
Um, but you're not gonna get drunk from wine. Come on. Now, yeah. I need time. At least after I get drunk, I need 3 to 4 days to get back on like my pace, because it's not the same. It's not the same, because the first day you feel like you died, then the
Mhm.
second day you start feeling like yourself again, but then you have what you let, like what you didn't do properly the first day, and then things get, kind of convoluted, and then you have to, it takes 3 to 4 days for you to go back to normal. That's
Just
just me.
keep yourself hydrated. Plenty of
Yeah.
water. That's the only thing that can help you. Because
Like I said yesterday,
yeah, yeah,
liquid IV.
showers, coffee, those old remedies that they will say, none of that works. Water. Just drink plenty of water and flush that out of your system so you
Yeah,
can recover as quick as possible.
I
Well,
wanted
that's
to say
true.
well,
something,
in
guys.
my case, it's been years since I tasted hot liquor, so I really wouldn't know what it tasted like.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
wanted to say something, guys. Me personally, I think I'm getting middle age because I'm 34. Recently,
Hmm.
just made 34 not that long ago, but I'm 34, and it's funny because I actually saw a meme. Well, it wasn't a meme; it was a video of a girl who was like 12 years old, and she's sitting there on the phone talking with her friends, and they're talking about different music videos and talking about the artists. And then I forgot the name of the artist they was talking about. And it was like, "What about this artist? Do your parents know this artist?" She was like, "No, no, girl. My daddy. He's 28, so he's old. He don't know about that art."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Little kids
28.
see somebody who is 30 years old, 35 years old as being old already. They do that. They do that. Kids do that.
I had my little cousin tell me, and this was years ago, but I had my little cousin tell me I was like 22 at the time, and they was like, "Hey, how old are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm 22." They was like, Wow, you know Rakim is old. He was alive when Tupac and Biggie was.
Oh, damn. Yeah. That's it. Like, wow, that was so long ago, and I remember that time very well.
That wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah. Speaking of age, I mean, my birthday is on Monday actually, so I almost forgot. I almost forget
Happy
about it. And,
birthday!
Man,
Happy birthday.
happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday to you.
thank you, guys.
Um, well, actually, October the 7th will be my birthday, and I'm gonna be most likely. Well, actually, I'm sure, Katie, you're gonna be participating in delegate training, so you get to sort of share my birthday celebration.
Okay, I'll definitely be there. I wanted to acknowledge the unknown. I'm not sure who the unknown is. If anyone knows who he is
He's a
or
male.
she is. Okay.
He's a male.
A male. Baby
Yeah,
boomers
he's
have
cool. He's cool.
okay. He says baby boomers have a hard time understanding that they cause what's going on now. That's not blaming, it's identifying the core of the problem. Very true. My mom is like that. She's she's born in 62. Oh man. We go at it. We
Mine
have
too.
boundary conversations and everything.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Mine was born in 63, and yeah, we have had boundaries conversations because of the same thing. It's like it's I think one of the things, like, you have to have a threshold of time that you share with them,
Yep.
because after a certain period, it an argument's gonna pop up, because it's like they have a map to your every nerve.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And you're like, you know what? I came here to fight. Love you. See ya.
And
Mhm.
Yep. I'm like, okay, mom, gonna go. I love you. Talk to you later. Bye.
and let me. And I said this before, and I said it again because I have several cyber children that I adopted, and I'm become their cyber father. Well, without a doubt, no offense, but my favorite is Denise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know. We know. I mean, you get mad at her, and you wanna,
They like,
and you
no.
wanna hit her, you wanna hit her with a flip flop or something. But we know you love her.
Well,
We
Even
guys,
know.
though
I definitely want to wrap this up soon. I'm in fear of having streams over 2 hours long. I'm not used to it. You guys are the pros. That's your guy. That's what you guys do. I'm not there yet.
Well, I just wanted to ask one quick question before we all end the stream. What are the pros of adulting? That's what we got to. We've spoken about the negatives, but what are some of the
Yeah.
pros that we all enjoy of
Well,
adulting?
it can actually be summed up in one being able to make one's own decisions, one being able to have their own space, one being able to make the not to necessarily have to answer to someone else, not having to ask permission for anything. Basically, those are the pros. There may not seem like a lot, but the few that are there, they're very good and they're very valuable because it's freedom. It's freedom to be able to be free as an adult and not having to answer to anybody. Those are big pros, even though they don't seem like a lot of them, because there are the responsibilities that come with them, and sometimes um, many people are not very good at holding themselves up to the responsibilities of being an adult. But once one can do the adulting as best as one can, then there are the benefits of the freedoms that come with it. So it can be worth it. It can be worth it, but there are certain times when, yeah, sometimes one want to kind of like fall back and to be able to go back to a time where things were easier and simpler. We all have thought about it. I know. But when it comes to being adult and maybe one living by himself and having one's own space and not having to answer to others, it's a wonderful thing. That's something that is a big plus.
Absolutely, man. I think about all the people. For some reason, it seems like people that treated you bad as a child try to be nicer to you once you're grown. You know, I don't know if you ever ran past that, especially I run past people that are like, "Oh, look how grown you are."
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you treated me like shit as a kid, though. Remember that?
They won't. They won't. If you were to bring it up to them, they'll say, "I don't know what are you talking about."
Yeah.
They're not gonna remember. They're not gonna
Especially
remember.
like men that I've seen too. Like, I'm like, yeah, remember how you used to treat me as a kid? I should really beat the hell out you now that I can, but I'm not gonna take advantage, even though I should.
All they'll say is tough love.
I don't know.
It was tough. It wasn't no love involved because
Exactly. Exactly. Not always. Not necessarily. I mean, because one thing is tough love, another thing is just being abusive, taking advantage of somebody who is not in a position to be able to smack them and put them in their place and being able to kick their ass. So there are people that there is always somebody that will take advantage of that. So it can be difficult to tell, especially when one is a kid and don't know much better. So one can end up with that trauma. One can end up with a certain resentment towards the person that took that kind of an advantage, because there is psychological, mental damage, trauma. Those things happen, and one sometimes it's not necessarily physical, but one still can carry that damage. It happens.
Absolutely. I agree with Suds and Satin. The pro for me is that, we can do things the way we want to, as far as correcting the problem or doing things different with our children. She says
That's
the
what I
pro
try
is
to do.
being able to do different things that your parents didn't do. So I agree with you guys, Ramon and Suds and Satin. That's the best for me because we know how we felt and we don't want our children feeling like that ever.
No. We don't want to pass that along. Whatever the trauma one got from even one's own parents, we're trying to we try to stop the cycle. Not everybody can do that. We know this. We know that not everybody can do that. I mean, they went through a trauma. They went through maybe some fucked up situation with their own parents, but they pass that along. Even though they don't mean to, but they might pass it along to their own children, and they can continue the cycle. So it's one can empower themselves to stop a cycle. That's a great thing. One is showing that one is stronger than the trauma, stronger than the issues that can plague oneself, and being able to stop the something that is negative, something that has already been happening probably one or two generations back in one's family, want to be able to have the strength to break the cycle. One can prove that to oneself, and one can say, yeah, I beat that, I broke that cycle. And that's what I'm trying to do. I sure as hell didn't want to repeat what my dad did. Because I have several half brothers and sisters, many of them that I don't know. I was talking to my aunt about it recently, and she told me, I don't know, I don't know if it's true, but she alleges that I have like 12 or 13 half siblings, something like that. And I sure as hell I'm not I'm not trying to be like that. I mean, it's just too irresponsible, because I'm sure that they went through a lot of the same thing that I had to go through, even though I was the legit, the one of the kids that were actually born in wedlock. I don't want to imagine how many of my other half siblings were born out of wedlocks. I'm sure there were a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't fair to them.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna forgive me. I've been listening a little bit to Rads, and this Psychorias is creating a brawl. Jose's favorite friend, Psychorias.
Oh,
Been
he's
permanently
starting shit.
banned on my platform, and also is a fan of Denise as well.
So he's starting drama over there. He's starting shit.
Yeah, because he apparently he jumped back on the stream because I asked Radical to like kick him out. But Radical
Uh,
told us yesterday that he didn't. He's like, no, he jumped out on his own. He literally did. I have that chat.
uh,
Um,
Yeah, that's true.
he said it. And
Wow. Well, I mean,
and now he's yelling at Radical that, "Oh, you kicked me out. It's not her stream. It's your stream." You know his voice is so annoying.
okay, he's starting drama to get attention. There are people that are. Uh, I don't want to use the word toxic, but it might apply on this instance because the word toxic gets thrown around so much. It something that is overused like that, it loses its meaning, but it may apply on this with this particular individual because
Well,
that's it.
he's a drama queen, pure and simple.
Yeah. I mean, he has been told about him sounding like he might be a rainbow person because of the way he talks. But
Well,
I don't know. I
I
don't
just
care
wanted
about
to
that.
well, I'm interested to go check out Radical Stream to find out who you guys are talking about right now. So we can wrap
Yeah.
this up here.
Actually, KFIT, if you take a look at the stream on fathers, on my shout out to the fathers, like 70 minutes into the stream, you'll see him in action.
Okay.
Joaquin went straight over there.
Wow.
he, no. I don't think that's what happened, but it did seem like he took off. There was a mention of radical stream, and he took off.
I.
No,
It's all
no, I'm
good.
playing. I'm playing. I don't mean it.
It's all good, guys. Well, thank you guys for logging in with me and giving me your input and everything regarding the topic. I knew it wasn't me, and this conversation proved it wasn't just me. And we're all related in some way or form when it comes to these things that we are, similarly associated with regarding adulting. And we just proved that here in the stream tonight. So, any final words from anyone?
Well, I can only say, of course, I'm gonna start by saying, KFIT, I appreciate you letting me be part of your panel. This was a little difficult for me. This was a little difficult for me on when it comes to the subjects that we actually ended up having to touch on, because I thought that we were just gonna talk about us being an adult and how much we would like it for things to go back to the way it used to be when we were younger and we were kids and we were just concerned with hanging out, playing around, hanging out with our friends, bullshitting, and all of that. I thought it was only gonna be a conversation about that, but no, it did went deep. It did go deep, talking about things that have to do with our past that could have been better, even with our relatives, even when it was to a degree with our parents. Even I did go there myself, but those are things that one has to confront, one has to deal with. And as much as we don't like it, that's reality. That's our reality. We have to acknowledge it, learn from it, move on from there, and as much as we can, pass on the lessons, learn the lessons, and teach them and pass them along to the next generation. Mentor it, at least, if one doesn't have one's own kids, and pass it along. But again, KFIT, I appreciate you letting me on your panel. And for the moment, that's it.
Thank you for joining. Appreciate you, Denise from Jose. Any final words?
Well, I would say thank you for having me. I'm trying to jump on new streams that I've never been before, to support, especially if it's good content. Yesterday, I had the pleasure to be on Ramon's and now on yours. I like this topic a lot. And I'm sorry, something I didn't got to say um, regarding the positive things. I think when you have if we're going to talk about the bad, one of the good things about adulting is that you have absolute control of where you go. You can change your life starting today and be a different person, and even change your environment, shape it to your liking, and create pockets of peace in your own home among different things. Adulting has its perks, and they are really, really, really cool. So I think that's something that has no price. I don't. I know that a lot of people say no. Stay with your parents as long as you can because your mom's rules are better than the world's rules. But that's not true. I learned that because I was fighting to become independent since I was 16 years old. So, and I finally did it. And when I got a hold of it, I never let go. And I moved to a different state. We're separated by land and sea. so, one thing I would say is, adulting is one of the most beautiful processes of life. It comes with growing pains, but it's a beautiful process. So don't think for a second that because it has bad moments, they're not good. They are lessons, and it helps you become more durable because it's always going to be like that. It's always going to be good and bad, and then but you're going to master going through the hard times. And I think, the more you see it that way, the best it will be, and see the negative, look for the positives and the negative aspects, and seek therapy because, like I said, adulting, it's a beautiful process and you don't want to miss out. With that being said, thank you very much. I'm gonna jump out. I'm gonna go
Okay.
eat a bochinche.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
doing,
yeah, yeah. You're
I'm
gonna
just doing,
you're
I'm just
running to
doing
rest.
things. So,
Take care, K-Fit.
Thank you.
okay.
Bye bye.
Okay,
Um,
bye bye.
I just gotta say thank you, KFIT, for allowing me on your platform and to have this talk. It was a little bit sensitive because, of course, both my parents are deceased. But the reality is that there are advantages of becoming an adult and disadvantages. And sometimes we don't always get the best examples from our parents. But the thing is that we need to learn to accept it as is, and just move forward. Thank you very much. I too am going to hop up. I'm going to go on Radical's stream. So thank you very much and good night, Kifit.
Good night.
Bye.
Well, folks, that was it. That was my wine and FaceTime for this Saturday. We were talking about adulting. You heard from me, you heard from the panel, you heard from people of different backgrounds, different upbringings, different cultures, and we all had something in common, especially the people that were born in the millennial time frame. So that's it. That's all for me. Please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel if you're still out there watching and viewing. Please take care of yourself. Be safe out there. It's really dangerous out here in these streets. Do whatever you need to do to feel sane mentally, physically, and emotionally. Catch you guys next weekend, same time, same place, for another episode of Wine and FaceTime. Also, catch me 8 a.m. Saturday morning for the free live workouts on my Instagram. Peace out, y'all.